Hey, welcome to Golden Beats Thanksgiving Roundtable 2024. In the house today, we got Ex Machina H3rø Official, Ex Hexadevi, and Chandler Klein Music. How y'all feeling?
Feeling right.
Good.
Good. All right, we're gonna have a great show today. Thanksgiving, we're talking gratitude. We're going to be talking about some of the playlists that I know all of these are always on the ones and twos when it comes to family gatherings, friend gatherings, Thanksgiving gatherings. So we're going to hear some of the songs that they're recommending that they're going to be playing this year. Of course, we got to talk about some of the grub that we're going to be getting into, some of our favorites, the dishes that we're looking forward to, grandma's cooking, all that good stuff. And then to start, though, I want to flip the script a little bit. I think a lot of the things that we are thankful for, that we have gratitude for, are things that we struggle with, are things that are a challenge for us throughout the years. So I want to start with that a little bit. The things that we're thinking, man, if I could just turn this corner, if I could just get through this, if I could push through that ceiling, I'd kind of get to my next level. And so I want to hear from each of you, and we'll just go around the room a little bit and get into these 4 topics. So we'll start with you, H3rø. For you, what are some of those challenges, some of those struggles, some of those things that are pain in the ass that you're hoping next year are some of your thankfuls? What do you got for us?
Well, life in general for the past year has been chaos. I moved 3 times, didn't have a creative space for like a solid 6 months out of the year, and just recently moved into a house. So like I feel like since November hit, it's like the plane landed and it's like, oh cool, so now I have some stability. So like I feel like I finally like going into next year kind of just building on I don't know, just building on a lot of stuff because I write a ton of music and working on doing a bunch of self-releases, maximizing socials, all that kind of stuff. But
you said creative space. I'm interested in that.
Yeah. Okay. So
I'm currently in. What does that mean?
So I'm currently in my my studio. So I own a recording studio in Sacramento, but the house that me and my wife just bought, I have my own room that I'm going to be creating to mirror like my brand, because like the H3rø brand is like an entire story where we're writing an anime and all this kind of stuff. So like it's a full on thing. So I'm currently in the process of renovating that room to be like the headquarters of kind of everything. So yeah, it'll be sick when it's done, but it's been a process. I'll just say that.
I like that you got a whole story arc that you're creating.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's super cool. All right, Chandler, for you, what are some of those challenges, the struggles? What are you trying to push through right now?
I'd say a lot of what I'm working on is social media engagement, and then translating that into Spotify. I had a couple videos about a month or 2 back. One of them broke 2 million views, and the other one broke 4 million views. And then the subsequent videos after that, I've had a couple spike up to like 50K. But after hitting that high of like several million views, it's hard to like just been trying to get back to that point and find out what I did right in those videos and start to replicate that more.
Isn't that the thing? You're like, what did I do? And sometimes you're like, that wasn't even my best video. Like, I did not think that one was going to pop up. You got any secret sauce for us? What do you think is working? What are people gravitating towards?
I mean, I've noticed that there's really like maybe 3 or 4 types of videos that do well, because nobody opens Instagram wanting to see an ad for your music, and that's just how it is. Nobody wants to see ads, even if it's not like a paid ad. If you structure it as, hey, go listen to my song on Spotify, when you're a viewer, you just see that and you're like, this is an ad, and you scroll. You have to give them some sort of value, so that comes in the form of like, it's relatable, or it's funny, or it's something that the viewer can use. So like, take a look at like Crank Dad's videos. They're really funny, but then there's also like that wow factor too of like he flipped some popular song into this dope dubstep track. So I think that's the most important, is finding the value that your audience is looking for. And then in terms of metrics, watch time, like the average watch time, I've noticed has made the biggest difference on whether or not a video is successful.
And for you then, the challenge, do you feel yourself thinking that any video that doesn't hit those big numbers is a failure, even though like you're in love with some of them?
I I used to think that, but then so sometimes what I'll do is if I don't have time to make a video, I'll recycle a video from a couple months ago, and maybe I'll make a couple changes, shorten the length, or I'll just make it more concise, cut out filler words that I didn't cut out originally, editing, that sort of thing. And in doing that, I've actually had videos that only got maybe a couple hundred to 1,000 views pop off and get 9,000 likes. And it's the exact same video, the exact same content. And all I did was edit it a little bit differently and add some captions in. And then just the time of day and even the time of year that you post can make a difference with how Instagram changes around their algorithm.
Yo, the algorithm is causing some headaches, man. I gotta tell you, I feel that for sure. So, anytime you think you got it figured out, it's changed again. It's completely altered, and especially with like AI now, I feel like what worked yesterday. I got a video, I had 138,000 views yesterday. Today's video got 612. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. So I feel you 100% on that. Hexadevi, for you, what are some of the struggles, the challenges? What are you trying to push through right now?
2024 sure brought the unexpected. I got out of a pretty abusive relationship earlier this year. So a lot of my transformation has just been learning to love myself and be with myself and discover who I am and what I'm all about. And what my music project is all about. That, of
I was
course.
just about to say, how does your music influence that? Is that a safe space for you? Is it an empowering space? All the above?
It has to be. Yeah. Oh, and empowering. I was having this conversation with a friend at Applecross Music Festival a couple months ago, and we were talking about writing lyrics. And I realized that the words don't really hit the page unless they leave me feeling empowered. So I think that's a big part of my music project.
Yeah, I feel that. Listening to some background and your guys, all of your guys' stuff was definitely some strength. I got to tell you, Hexadevi, sorry, fellas, but my 3-year-old daughter is like Simon Cowell. If she hears a song that's like a hit, she starts dancing like no other. And if it's not a hit, she's like not even moving. And you had a couple songs that had her vibing. So just
Ooh.
yeah, she was feeling it. So I gotta give you some props there. I think the empowerment is coming through in your music. So well done there. Keep pushing through that,
Love to
and
hear
we'll
that.
have some gratitude next year when we circle back. I know that'll be on the gratitude side of the equation for sure. Ex Machina, what do we struggle with? What are we pushing through? What are we fighting? What's going on? Talk to us.
Man, so I mean, this year has been, like everyone said, like it's been wild. It's been a chaotic, honestly, chaotic journey, I would say. But I will say that it's been really fun, for me at least, getting my album together. I've been working on a 40-minute album, really honestly for like a whole year, and I've been trying to kind of explore a little bit more with my sound design as of late. Really working with glitchy, natural sounds, things that really you don't hear as often, but created from everyday like items, maybe everyday instruments, things like that. So I've been really trying to push myself to kind of step out of my current box, let's just say. But the 40-minute album though has been a journey because I've been trying to make it really unique. And I make a bunch of cassettes too. Like I've got cassettes like all around me right now. And so I've been trying to essentially make it a physical art form or like physical art piece because I've been doing a lot of sets at galleries lately, and I do maybe like couple hour sets every weekend, and it's been a trip just seeing everybody create like all of these physical pieces of art. So it really made me want to take my art a little bit further and then create something in the physical realm. So I've been making all these cassettes and then like doing these little custom watercolor pieces so I can put it in each cassette. And then also I've been doing
artwork
like
for the cassette itself.
yeah, so I've done all the artwork for the cassette. I've done like even like recording every bit of audio to the tapes. Then I've also been doing like special cards in each one where I watercolor like a different design on it just to kind of make it unique. But yeah, man, it's been really fun just kind of exploring that part of my art just to see if I can do more than just music.
I was
So
about to say the music is hard enough. Now
yeah,
you're trying to get the physical art form. Yeah, I saw you were at the Mycelium Gallery.
yes,
That was
yes.
bizarro and super cool.
Yeah, honestly, that's been my bread and butter lately of a venue. I've been performing there maybe at least like 20 hours every month there, just kind of experimenting with different sounds, and that's where I get a lot of my inspiration from. So it's been pretty sweet being there.
When you're talking about like sounds just from regular out there, like I've seen Charlie Puth do that, where he'll just like tink 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 on a coffee mug or something, and then turn that into a beat, and then turn that like
Yeah,
stuff.
so
Is that what you're talking about doing?
similar, yeah, because one of my biggest inspirations is Bonobo, and he records a lot of his sound effects and things with his iPhone. So I go on a lot of hikes usually during the week, and then I just get sound recordings of maybe wood or just the atmosphere, and then try to make something out of it. Because for me, making music is just painting. I just try to get these sounds, and I do destructive editing, so I just destroy everything, make it into audio, and destroy it, stretch it. And for me, it's like, what can I make out of this set of audio? You know, it's for me, it's like exploring what's possible. It's like a little RPG within the sound realm. So,
All right, I could see the challenge there. All right, we're gonna have some gratitude for that for sure, coming into next year. Yeah, I love this. All of you are working in different parts of the country. We got Sacramento, we got Tampa, Florida, we got Oklahoma, we got Denver in the house, but all of you have kind of, I'm hearing similar arcs. There's kind of in similar places where we're like really trying to push the music, really trying to develop our own brand, our own voice, and what that means, and knowing that it's right there, and then trying to connect to the audience. That's always just such a difficult thing. And so I can appreciate where all of you are at. But it sounds like all of you have a plan. Do you feel like you have a plan, or you're just throwing spaghetti at the walls and seeing what sticks?
Bit more of
Who
a
knows?
plan this year than usual, or for
Yeah.
next
Yeah,
year.
more of
I
a
should say.
plan. Hero's got a plan. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally. Chandler, for you, you feel like it's planned out, or you like just rolling with the punches?
A little bit of both. I've been doing a mentorship with KJ Saka, who's the drummer from Pendulum, and he's been helping me structure things a little bit better, just in terms of releases and how I go about marketing them. But
You feel like there's enough mentorship across the industry and collaboration and all that? I wonder about that sometimes, because it's sometimes when you're a DJ, you're on an island a little bit, right? It feels like sometimes. I wonder about that.
It's there's mentors out there that will claim to be mentors, but they just want you to pay them money on a monthly basis, and they're not actually helping you necessarily.
Internet gurus, man.
Yeah.
A lot of those.
A lot of those. I feel that everyone's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's what's happening for sure. No, that's why communities like this and what Golden Beats is doing, I was so drawn to it, is because it is about having a community. It's about that support. It's about going through hard times and being able to lean on other people. Again, sometimes you're in the lab by yourself, hours and hours and hours. You connect with the audience, but sometimes it feels like there's still, a wall between the audience and you, and like pushing through that. So I think having that camaraderie, something that I've really appreciated about what Swan and Michael and everyone is doing with Golden Beats, and appreciate that all of you are a part of that community and trying to collaborate. I mean, I already feel like there's going to be a coast to coast collab that somehow comes out of this podcast. Like, who knows? Just cool shit happens like that. So I'm excited for all of you. All right, let's talk straight up grateful. Just something that happened this year where you're like, man, I can't believe that this came through. I wasn't expecting it. It's not where I expected it to come from. I just thought I was years away from that, whatever that might be. Let's go back around the table and talk about that a little bit. Hero, for you, what's that been for 2024?
Definitely getting a house, because
You're adulting, man. You're adulting full on now,
bro. Full on. I mean, I'm like past 30 now, so it's weird being like one of the older people in the scene now.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Like, okay, so slight sidetrack. Okay, I'm a part of a collective, and I was on a call the other day with like the whole group of people and whatnot. And then the guy that runs the collective, he was like, "Hey, Aaron, since you're one of I think you're the oldest guy in here, so why don't you give some life experience?" And I'm like, I've never been the oldest one.
on blast, right? Because you get into this and it's so youthful. You have to be young. All of a sudden, like these long sets and these late nights, they start to creep up on you.
Or you got late nights and you got afters, and it's like, okay, I didn't sleep, but I got to go to work.
Yeah.
But yeah,
100%.
no, for
Okay, so
me,
we talk about the house. I mean, house sounds good and all, but what does it create for you? What's the stability mean? What's the foundation for you?
well, my wife and I have been married for 5 years now, and
Nice. Well
we've
done.
moved like at least once a year since we've been married, and it's just been like this chaotic.
Around Sacramento or
It's just literally around this entire area, like, and I am beyond sick of moving, and so is she. So actually having like this is our house now. We don't have to leave. Like we don't have crazy neighbors or landlords or anything to like force us out or anything like that, because that's happened a couple of times.
Huh.
And being able to have just stability in the living situation kind of makes all the other things in life a lot simpler. Because I don't think because growing up I didn't move a whole lot, so I don't think I realized how much having a stable living situation really affects absolutely every aspect of your life.
Mm.
And I don't know, because we moved in late August, and it's literally felt like the storm has settled.
Yeah, no
And we
doubt.
can kind of like start building and start moving forward, because it almost felt like I can't move forward because cool, building, and every time you move it takes like a month to like start the process, get into the house.
Lose all that momentum.
And and it just throws everything off. So like having a solid place to stay is like it's everything right now.
How does it affect the music? Talk to me about that. Do you realize now that you have some stability, you're like, man, my music was as erratic and chaotic as I felt like my life was? Like, do you see that direct correlation?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because my studio is actually 30 minutes away from where I live, and it used to be 45 minutes away from my last place. So like everything I've been doing for like at least the last year has been on a laptop. So at work, random coffee shops, even where I was living, we ended up bunking up with my parents for like 6 months. And then even there, I didn't have a creative space. My creative space was literally like a desk in the middle of the living room.
Yeah.
And it's like my parents
On
are
your lap.
yeah, literally just kind of like
Literally your laptop on your lap.
literally laptop. And my parents are those kind of people that just always like having people over. So it's like working on music and like with just tons of noise and whatnot. And even where I work in a smog shop, which anybody that doesn't know, that's just like emissions stuff on cars. And
California.
I work, California. But I work for like a couple hours in the morning, but I got to stay there for a full shift. So I spend most of that other time just working on music, but I'm working in an auto shop. So there's so much noise.
The grind is real.
It,
The grind is real. All right.
Yeah.
I feel you. Well, good. I'm glad you have that stability. I know it's gonna play out in the music. Now you can have the creative space to write that story arc. I'm excited to see where that goes. Chandler Klein, for you, what's that grateful? What do you got some gratitude for in 2024?
Well, I mean, I only started DJing and being like in the nightclub scene, out playing shows in about June of last year. And so just from that point, I've been a resident at nightclubs, I've played festivals and all that sort of stuff. And that's all happened in a very short amount of time. So I'm just grateful for all the opportunities that I've been given by different people that I've met along the way, friends I made, that sort of thing. And just I've received a lot of support from just people in my life as well as other artists, and I always try and repay that support, but I'm still grateful for it regardless. And just the opportunities that have been given with my age and everything.
How do you think? Are you always looked at as the young guy? Now we got the young guy and the old guy in the room here.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're like, oh, you're just a snot-nosed kid. What do you know about DJing? What do you know about being a resident DJ? What do you know about,
I was 17 when I started DJing at church, so I definitely got a little bit of that. Not necessarily from the DJs in my collective, but it's also definitely put some walls up for me. I can't play at certain venues, even though promoters would like to book me, just because of the legal reasons and the way that alcohol laws work in Colorado and the times that the nightclub shut down. So it's definitely, it's put some walls up for me, but it's just allowed me to focus on music more. And something that I've realized as I've started going on more is that playing shows doesn't get you nearly as far as making good music. So,
Yeah, right. That's like the extension of it. That's
yeah.
the byproduct of making great music and being a good musician. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What do you think? Why do you think you've been able to surround yourself with those people and mentors, the collective, the church group, and all that? What makes you able to surround yourself with that positivity? How you go about that? Give us some secret
Um,
sauce.
well, one of the biggest things is just I'm really well connected with. There's a shop here in Colorado called Mile High DJ Supply, and I've been really well connected there. And they're the only like DJ dedicated store in the western half of the U.S. Like the only other retailer that really competes with them is Guitar Center, and Guitar Center is not a DJ store; it's a guitar store. So there's definitely a market there. So you just end up meeting all sorts of people. Like Jazzy Jeff was in there at one point. Closey, I think we even had Immersive came through the shop at one point. So you end up just meeting a lot of people just by hanging around there. And then honestly, the advice I would give to any other artist that's looking to get booked for a show is go out and support other artist shows. Like I don't like going to nightclubs to just go to nightclubs. Like that's just not something that I'm into, but I do like DJing. But I'll go to nightclubs to support other artists because I know one, I'm supporting other people. You have to give them what you want to get before you're going to get it, you know? And then you just end up meeting people when you hang around and talk to the other artists, and that'll open up doors for you.
Dropping nuggets, Chandler Klein, man, good stuff. Absolutely, you got to go support. You got to go put out in the world what you're expecting to get back. Much love for that. All right, Hexadevi, for you, some
Yeah,
gratitude. What do you got?
I'd have to echo a little bit of what Chandler just said about giving support, and then you'd be surprised how much it comes back to you in return. As far as like gratitude in 2024, I'd have to say it's the moments that I decided to advocate for myself and make moves on my own behalf, because that got me back on a festival stage for the first time in a few years. That got me a release on a Tampa-based label that I'd been eyeing for some time, and it also got me a nice opening slot for the Whittler last month, which was
Let's
through the
go.
same label and collective. Yeah, they're also a promoter, so it was like goals that I had for myself without a really like well-defined timeline. Like I didn't expect to be playing support slot like that for maybe another like year or two, but then it happens, and it all happens, because I went and made moves for myself instead of kind of waiting around for someone to help me. That can be such a trap to fall into, is to think like, well, where is my mentor? Where is my help? A lot of the times in this industry, you have to be your own hero.
Yeah, no, I can. I feel that 100%. And for you, in those moments that you're advocating for yourself, that you're kind of finding your voice, like what is it about you that you've been able to actually accomplish that? Because I'll back up. A lot of us creatives struggle with that pretty desperately, right? It's like we have so much to give, so much to put out in the world, so much that we see and a vision that we see that so many other people don't. And to be able to express it is everything to us. And a lot of times, Chandler mentioned those walls that get put up. Hero mentioned the instability that is part of that, a little bit of the chaos of it. What for you is something that you've had to dig deep and be able to find in yourself? Like what is that? Have you put a name to it?
Ooh, a name. I I think
Hexadevi, that's the name.
yeah, yeah. It took me a while to come up with that name too, but I think what it is deciding to be the one that speaks up. I think it's easy to sit back and look to our fans for confirmation, or I mean, I almost want to use the
Validation.
word validation. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And once you say it that way, it's like, wait a minute, that's not what they're there for. I'm the one who is telling them what's cool, and they're following me because they trust that. Otherwise, they wouldn't be my fan, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So I think I've had to dig deep into like what my project is really about, and get comfortable saying that out loud, instead of just maybe making a post here or saying a few words there and hoping that people get it, because people don't always get it, especially if you're
Most of the time they don't get it.
yeah, right. If you're like in a niche or you have a specific style, like the social media posts aren't really like supposed to cast a wide net and reel people in. It's more like a broadcast to find who that resonates with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they kind of look at you and they're hoping sometimes that they see a mirror. They're like, wait a minute, that's what I was thinking, that's what I was feeling, and being able to then dig deep so that they don't have to, or they're not ready to, or some of that kind of thing too. I feel like when you have an audience, which is pretty powerful as well. Yeah. All right, keep digging deep. We like that. Ex Machina for you. Some thankfuls. What are we thankful for in 2024?
Man, 2024 has been a wonderful year, honestly, for just creating music for me. Just grateful to be able to create what comes to my mind now. I think that was like the biggest struggle that I had for the first 10 years of producing was, man, how do I make that sound? And now it's like, okay, I can make that sound, but how can I make it better? I think that's like the new dimension that I've been kind of just playing on lately, and it's been pretty cool. So I think I'm definitely grateful to be able to always push myself to just do better and make more music with less effort. Now, I think that was another thing was now it's like I'll make music maybe once every week before I'd make it every day. And for me, it's like I want to be able to savor the moments. And so I'll spend the rest of the week just creating other things and then building up to that moment. Because for me, when I sit down, I can produce a track in like maybe an hour and I get most of what I want. And then over like the next 4 weeks, I'll just kind of tweak it here or there and kind of enjoy the actual music, because I'll have that on repeat and then just see if it vibes. Because if it does, I'll keep on listening to it and I won't get tired of it. And that's how I know it's worth my time. And I've been just trying to finish more music. So I'll start a project and I'll try to finish it. I'm usually within like a few weeks of me starting it and just stay consistent with it. And so making like the albums and stuff like that and finishing that has been like a milestone for me, because I try to do at least one album every year and I've successfully been able to do that for the last 5 years. So it's been really nice to just be able to stay consistent with that. And it's always like an art project for me too. So whenever I create a new album, I always try to keep it as like a time capsule of like that year of how I felt, maybe what I've experienced, maybe even from the artwork to the title names to just how it sounds to even like the chord structures and the keys, like everything kind of hits for me for a reason. And so whenever I create an album, it's like, this is like a moment of my life that I want to share. And, just like what Hexadevi said earlier, it's like broadcasting on like a certain resonance. So for me, before it was like, okay, I want to be able to tell or show people my music and then have them enjoy it and love the music for what it is. But now it's like I don't really care if people enjoy it or not, but if in the case that I show my music to somebody or they listen to it and it hits in a way, like maybe they remember something but it hits those neural pathways in a way where it connects some sort of memory, I think that's enough for me, because I think I want to be in the business of connecting those neurons versus like trying to sell these records. So
Oh man, we're going into like mental pathways and stuff here, man.
yeah.
You're trying to rewire our brains, huh?
Dude, literally,
I think
literally,
we
that's how I want to do
we
it.
need that. I think we need that, maybe as individuals, as a society. Like there's a lot of reasons that we need to rewire our brains for sure. I'm interested in that. I like this kind of time capsule thing. That was interesting to me as well. I don't know why it popped in my head, but there's this like dumb Taco Bell commercial that's like throwback to the 90s and it looks like Saved by the Bell background and stuff. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Like that's interesting to people, right? How do we suck up nostalgia? And so at some point it's relevant now, today. It's the sound of the moment. It's the zeitgeist of what's happening in the music world. But someday it's going to be a memory, right? And we spend a lot of time, effort, money on memories as a culture. I mean, let's look at our like Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, all that, right? We have so many memories, and then you look at our Spotify playlists, music, all of it. Those are entertainment, sure, but really what they are when they really hit is their memories. You're creating those moments that are iconic. We're going to talk about that a little bit when we talk about playlists, because that to me is like I I walk back into a friend's house, into a family member's house, and I want to hear that song that just reminds me of that time that we did that thing, that one place, that one time with those one people. That's something powerful. You mentioned something that I did want to touch on, because I think burnout is a real thing in this industry, in so many industries, creative industries especially, when you give so much of yourself, and reciprocation is not always there. It's not always in balance. And you mentioned the hustle, the grind, kind of every single day making the music. Do you think you need moments like that of making music too much to get to a point where you have the perspective to make music at the right balance? Or do you feel like you just have the maturity now that now you know how to actually make music in a way that's efficient and effective for you?
I mean, you definitely got to put in the hours. I'll say that I've made so much music. I have hard drives full of music, and like even now in the last 2 years, I've produced at least like over 120 tracks fully finished, and mixed and mastered myself as a goal to get better at mixing and mastering. So you got to put in the hours, but now it's like I enjoy just savoring that moment, because when I really sit down and I produce something, like for me, it's like we talked about earlier, it's like nostalgia. How can I manufacture nostalgia on like a regular basis? And so I always try to like live life, because that's what gives you nostalgia, is like those moments. And so when you live life and then you produce how you feel, and when you really feel it, instead of like just putting out like 10 beats a day, because it gets really diluted after a while, right? Like you put out so much of yourself, and then it just becomes like a lot of the same thing. Rather, if you just really savor the moment and then produce something that you really enjoy, and then just kind of ruminate on that, just enjoy that, be in that, and then just build upon that, like it really creates that nostalgia, even for just yourself as a producer. Like I think a lot of people think too hard about like everybody wanting to enjoy your music, but if you don't enjoy your own music, what's really the point, right? And so I really just spend that time to manufacture those nostalgic moments for myself, and obviously, I'll release it to the world, and then if everybody likes it, then cool. So
yeah, and if they don't, you're still rocking.
Yeah, exactly, still doing it.
It's not going to slow you down at all. Oh, that's great. I love this. We got a lot to be grateful for sure. In 2024, we got a lot to work on in 2024 and 2025 and beyond. So I appreciate all of you sharing that with a little bit. Again, this is Golden Beats Thanksgiving Roundtable 2024. We're here with Ex Machina, H3rø, Hexadevi, and Chandler Klein, talking about gratitude, talking about thankfulness, talking about playlists. Now, I want to know, when we going into Thanksgiving next week, coming up, when we're with friends and family, what are some of those songs that we want to make sure on the playlist? What's that high fidelity song number one when we're making that mixtape? What's number one? H3rø, what do you got for us?
Open Up the Pit, crank that. I've just been that song goes so hard.
I was about to say, man, grandma just jumped out of her recliner, man.
She did. I mean, my family knows that I grew up playing metal, so I spin heavy.
Okay, I like it, man. I like it. Now, at what song number do you start to like mellow and then give them that clack 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 in the roller coaster? Or you just keep it heavy and hard?
Bro, my sets are just great the entire time.
At the end, everyone's just exhausted but happy.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. All right, Chandler, for you, what's a song on the playlist? What's song number one on the playlist?
I hate to say it, but I am also just kind of gunning it the whole time. Anytime I play, man, I think I'm gonna have to go
on 11 the whole time.
Yeah, the whole set. That's what I'm known for. That's why I can't open. I'm gonna go with let's go with Desperado by Zomboy. Yeah, I'm really into like bass and electro house. So basically dubstep with a house beat. And yeah, that song is just bouncy.
Dude, I love it. I love that thinking about going in and putting a vibe together, that you're not playing Sweet Caroline when you roll in there. You're like, no.
I play what I'm known for.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is my expression of who I am. You invited me to Thanksgiving dinner, so you
made
knew
the
what you were getting yourself into. Hexadevi, for you, what are you putting on blast? What are you playing?
Oh, well, I typically spend Thanksgiving in solitude. Uh, gosh, I don't remember the last family party I went to, but if we're gonna talk chosen family,
Yes,
that kind of
please.
depends on the vibe. Um, I don't always go super hard uh, if I'm in charge of the aux cable, but I kind of like a nice ambience. Like I'll put on temple step radio, or maybe some like chill synthwave stuff, or perhaps the perfect intersection of those, some like Polish Ambassador.
I like that. I like chosen family too. Right? Like that's really great. You gotta find your people for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's I mean, isn't that like half of what we're trying to do, right? Hero mentioned with finding the house, like we're looking for stability, we're looking for our people. You talked about the empowerment, Ex Machina is out here trying to rewire pathways and stuff. Chandler's trying to
Amen.
surround himself with all the good people. Like we're trying to find our people, and music is that pathway for not that many people when it comes to the creation side of it, but everybody circles around a table and listens to music together, whatever that vibe is. And I don't know if anything sets the tone for who we are as a group more than music. Maybe the one-liners that we're talking, movie one-liners that everyone's ripping off because we've been watching them since we were all like collectively kids or whatever it might be. But after that, it's music, man. When you get a room of people moving to the same rhythm, to the same beat, or singing the same lyrics, like it's a powerful, powerful thing for sure. All right, Ex Machina, how are you rewiring my brain on Thanksgiving, man?
Man, honestly, so whenever it's holidays, I will either turn on Lana Del Rey. So I just enjoy just vinyl of Lana Del Rey. We'll just toss it on occasionally when I'm chilling, or I'll put on Bonobo at the Black Sands album to be specific. Honestly, there's just something so nostalgic about the intro and the violin and just the natural sounds. It makes you feel like you're in the jungle on Thanksgiving or any holiday. And so, yeah, those two recommendations, totally worth it.
Lana Del Rey vinyl, man.
Dude,
Getting like
I
real
have
raspy.
I have like all of them almost, and so I'll toss it on, and I have like a really nice hi-fi system that I found at a garage sale for like $100. It was so worth it, and honestly, I'll play vinyl, occasionally, but it's most of the time it's going to be Lana Del Rey, but either cinematic stuff occasionally, but yeah, I mean Lana Del Rey. Just the voice on that, man. She
Mhm.
on her so like her LPs are so good just on vinyl, but I have a few on cassette that are really good as well, but they just don't hit the same. I don't know. I love it.
You're a collector. I can tell you're like a historian slash anthropologist slash collector slash hit
I
maker. I like
I
it.
honestly think that I put all of my music on cassette, right? And so for me, I'm like, dude, if I'm like 50 years old, 60 years old, I want to have like a wall of my stuff. Even if it's not like released major label or whatever, I'll release it on my own independent label like I do now, and it's so much more fun just having just that. So I'll have all of my stuff lined up just with my music. And when I'm old, I'm gonna enjoy that. That's that nostalgia I'm working for.
It makes me think of high fidelity again. Like how you organize your cassettes is going to be what autobiographical, right? Like
Yep.
that kind of thing
Yeah,
is
and it's all chronological
fascinating
for
to
me
me.
too, because I'll create a lot of my stuff chronologically. So all my albums that I release, it's like I created this track first, and that one next, and next, and next, and so you can kind of hear the journey of my sound design over time. So it's pretty fun for me.
Oh, that's cool. I can't wait till you cut all that together and just show, like who does that? Jimmy Fallon does the history of like hip hop dance with Will Smith and stuff, and you can just like
Oh
see the
yeah,
evolution of it. Same kind of thing. You just see the evolution of your own music or the music that is of the day and back in the day now too, for sure. Oh, I love that. Okay. I'm gonna hit you guys all up because I'm gonna play some of your guys's picks at Thanksgiving. I already told the fam, so I love this. I'm gonna melt Grandma's face off and then go to some Lana Del Rey and like I love it. We're gonna be all over the place, and I think that's what makes a great playlist, a great set you know, whether you're on stage or whether you're watching football on the couch. I think that's what makes these times great. All right, some grub. All right, my background is as a chef, and restaurants has been like a world I grew up in, and spent a lot of time in California and then in Denver, cooking for people and community and building community that way. You guys do it through music. I really did that through food. So I'm always fascinated. Like, what are you grubbing on? What's your must have? What side? What main? What are you bringing yourself to the dinner? What are you making sure that you have that every year is just like gives you those feels? H3rø, what do you got? What are you grubbing on?
I got 3. My
Give
wife
it
makes
to us.
all 3 of them because I can't cook that well, but she is like, ooh, girl. First one, she does this. It's a bacon truffle scallop potatoes. That's like, oof.
That's chefy, man. That's like restaurant style right there.
Girl cooks.
Girl.
She cooks. The second one is the bacon jalapeno mac and cheese.
Okay.
The last one is strawberry pie. Oof.
Man. I'm coming over. What time's dinner? That sounds
I'll send you
awesome.
the address.
That sounds awesome. No plastic mashed potatoes for you, man.
This Thanksgiving is going to be wild. So my wife is Persian, and all of her family's local. So like her whole family is coming over for Thanksgiving. So we're having like a Persian Thanksgiving, and it's going to be, oof.
Nice.
The family can cook. She comes from a family that can cook. So I'm like, I'm excited.
Oh man, lucky man. Chandler, for you, what are you most looking forward to eating on Thanksgiving? You're muted.
Anyways, there's this dish that my family makes, and it's sweet potatoes with like marshmallows and brown sugar, and then it's like blowtorched basically.
That's iconic.
Yeah. I could eat a whole pan. Like I jokingly do it every year. I grab the whole pan and pretend to walk off with it. And one of these years I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna walk off the whole
This is the year. 2024 is the year. Be like, why did you actually do it? I was like, I was doing this round table and they were egging me on, so I had to do it. I had to do it. Oh, I love that. That has to be the most diabetes inducing savory dish that has ever been created. Savory dish. It's a savory dish. It's a potato, right? Not so much. That is a sugar bomb for sure. All right, that's a good one. And the blowtorch, that's a pro move too, right? That's
the important part. It's not complete without the marshmallows being toasted.
Yeah, true story. All right, Hexadevi, what are you hungry for?
Well, I am vegan and gluten-free, so that's why I'm alone on Thanksgiving every year.
No. What do you mean? The sides are the best part of Thanksgiving, and most of those you can get by with, right?
Yeah, but I gotta get a lot of protein. I mean, I work out. I'm trying to build muscle, so I'm always like chasing the protein. But ever since I was a teenager, I've had maybe a slightly less exciting sweet potato dish than Chandler's. But I make a twice-baked sweet potato that has candied nuts, dried cranberries, and little coconut flakes. And then usually when they go in for their second bake, I'll put more coconut flakes on top. So they get a little bit toasty, but there's no torch involved. And now I'm kind of wondering if I need to level up.
You might not need to go get one of those butane torches and get that extra crispy coconut on there.
Yeah, I'm on it.
That's where it's at. All right, I'm gonna give you one then, because I feel like you're feeling like you're underserved when it comes to that. One of my favorite high protein things is big fat northern beans or cannellini beans done basically like with caramelized onions. Best high protein, super unctuous side dish. So I highly recommend the big fat northern beans with caramelized onions. You just stew that down. You'll love it.
All right. Northern beans down south.
I'll
Try it.
send
Maybe
you.
I'll
Yeah,
try it this year.
exactly. I'll send you a recipe. Big fat butter beans or something like that.
Mm.
All right, Ex Machina.
Man,
What are
honestly,
you ready to grub on?
bread is like the number one thing on my list every year. So there's usually it's either naan or dinner rolls or Hawaiian rolls. But garlic knots always at the top of the list for sure because they're so cheap and you can get a ton of them. I could eat like 10 of them to be honest. But yeah, anything with bread.
You just carb loading.
Carb-
What are you running a marathon afterwards?
I'm just
No,
trying to crack.
yeah, when you're cracking the neural pathways, man, it uses a lot of energy. So you gotta build up on the
He's
carbs.
going on a hike to get the sound of a mountain lion. He's got to go
Literally,
into the
yes.
woods, so he's going to need to carb load fully.
Sometimes you just got to do it, man. But it's usually bread, but carrot cake is my next thing. That's my next top of the list. It's always been just my favorite. I don't know what it is about it. It just tastes really good.
Yeah, carrot cake is high on my list, and carbs are high on my list because I go like pretty much carnivore is like my diet, and so I like carb load like a mother. On Thanksgiving, I just like give me all of the carbs, give me all of the potatoes, give me all of the gluten, all that stuff, and I just am in pain for like 3 days. I make sure and take the whole 4 or 5 days off, but happy times 100%. Oh, this is great. I knew this was going to be a lot of fun. What a cool crew to get together, to be able to talk shop with all of you, to be able to talk about what we're grateful for, what we're still working on, what we're striving for. And I can see a lot of hunger in all of you for continuing to strive for your own music, but like to elevate the game as a whole. I think that's something that I really respect about each of you individually and collectively, especially again, so much of the Golden Beats community. Let's go around the table one last time. We're going to wrap this up. I want each of you to be able to give us that shameless plug. Let us know where to find you. Let us know what you're specifically working on. You got shows coming up. You got albums dropping. You got art coming out. You're doing whatever it is. Like, let's let the people know where they can find us. So, H3rø, where do you want to send people?
Instagram at H3rø official, and I am taking a low-key hiatus for shows for a little while because
Okay.
I'm going to be maximizing social media like crazy. So new music, new ideas, new concepts is all going to be coming through Instagram and TikTok. But that's going to be, if you want to follow the journey, it's all going to be through socials for probably the next 6 months.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Especially as you kind of build that arc that you were talking about.
Mhm.
TikTok too. That's good. I spend more time on TikTok than Instagram. So I'll got on all of your Instagrams because that's what Swan had sent my way. But I'm going to make sure and check out TikTok. You go live at all on IG or TikTok?
I will be because I'm going to be doing some live sets and stuff. So
Yeah, I thought so. Figured.
yeah.
Hey, nice. All right, go check out H3rø Official on TikTok and Instagram. Chandler Klein, what do you got going on?
Well, I'm just Chandler Klein Music on every platform except for Twitter because they won't let me make my handle that long. So Twitter is DJ Chandler Klein. But everywhere else is Chandler Klein Music. I have a song that I'm releasing on December 15th. It originally was going to be a drum and bass track, but I actually got hit up by a couple different artists that I can't disclose at this point that possibly want to hop on the track. And so if that happens, then we're probably going to have to delay the release. But I will be releasing a song on December 15th. Either way, I have a different song I can release if that ends up going through. But that being said, I am also taking a bit of a hiatus from shows just because I'm not really seeing the benefit from them that social media and just releasing consistently. So you might catch me at a festival or two or larger shows, but I'm stepping back from residencies and just consistent shows, trying to reduce down to a show every 3 months or so. Also, just for maximizing ticket pool reasons, promoters in Denver, they want you to bring people with you. And if I'm playing a show every week, my poll will just consistently become less and less.
Understood. All right. Looking for that December 15th. I'm marking the calendar. I can't wait. Hexadevi, where can we find you? What's going on?
Yes, my handle is pretty universal. I just released a new mixtape that's up on SoundCloud. it kind of showcases all the stuff I was playing out live this year, including all my new vocal edits. I just started rapping during my DJ sets this year, so that's kind of a new thing. And
Go.
yeah, out of all my DJ mixes, this is the first time I've like baked my own vocals in there instead of just a bunch of like other people's acapellas. So that's up on my SoundCloud. I've got a couple of releases coming out on Road Tripping Records before the end of the year. So the first one is November 29th, and that is a track on my homie's EP where I recorded the vocals. And then towards the end of the December, that's like a neuro hop beat. So kind of new territory for me. And then I am going to my first Love Burn in February. That's no longer an official regional Burning Man event, but it's still basically like Burning Man in Florida, I guess.
Okay.
So hoping to line up a couple DJ sets there.
Nice. Love hearing that. Ex Machina, what you got? Where are you going to be? Where can we find you?
I am also universal everywhere, so same handle, mostly on YouTube. So I've been putting a bunch of like couple hour long sets. Recently did 2 8-hour long sets and then a 2-hour long set. But everything is uploaded through there. And then I also have my album Phantom of the Ether dropping on January 11th. And then we're going to be doing a release party at Mycelium Gallery. I'll also be releasing the album on Audius. If you guys don't know what that is, it's like a Web 2.5 kind of audio platform. It'll be on there exclusively for like a month, and then also the cassettes will be available as well. And then a month later, it'll probably be on all platforms through my label. So excited for that.
Love it. I knew we were going to get some movers and shakers together. All right, I'm following what all of you are working on. Everybody, once again, this was Golden Beats Thanksgiving Roundtable 2024 with H3rø, Chandler Klein, Hexadevi, and Ex Machina. I'm Jensen Cummings. That's what we got for you. Hopefully, you got some gratitude in your life, and as well as some things that we're working through, because it's important for us to know that this game isn't easy. This life thing isn't easy. So make sure you're out there supporting each other, supporting other artists, supporting other creatives, supporting your community, building your community in every which way you know how, and is possible. And definitely make sure and check out and follow Golden Beats. What they're working on is important stuff. They drew me in, and they've drawn a lot of great artists in as well. And I think you're going to see some great stuff coming from this community specifically. So that's all we got for you. Appreciate y'all. Cheers.